Gentlemen, ladies, welcome to your 20th HTML5 tutorial, and in this lesson, actually in the next couple lessons, I'm going to be talking a little bit more about CSS3. Now, I know we talked a little bit about it before, but there's actually a ton of crap we need to cover concerning CSS3. And actually, HTML5 and CSS3 are like married together, kind of like XHTML and CSS were. So this tutorial series could have even been called HTML5 and CSS3 because that's how connected they are. You can't really use one without the other, and if you do, it's not going to work out too well. So, enough of me talking. Let me go ahead and explain. I first ripped everything out of our body because, or excuse me, my website, because we only really need something simple for this demonstration. So, make sure you have a div, which is going to, just surround your entire website, and just like a paragraph or any text inside. If you have text, surround it with a span. But just go ahead and copy this, throw it in your website, and we'll be good. I didn't want to go ahead and retype this because all you guys know what this stuff is already. I also have my body centered, and I gave that div a background and a border. So I also changed the text, but none of this really matters. As long as you have this set up, you can make it look like anything you want. So basically, I am working with this website right like this. Nothing new. So anyways, let's get to the meat of the tutorial now that you know how my template is set up. So the very first thing I want to talk to you guys is about giving rounded corners to your div or to any box really. Now, as you can see, these boxes have nice square corners, and with a lot of websites nowadays, that's what they want. But for some reason, people tend to prefer round corners. So let me go ahead and show you guys. You see this window right here? Ooh, look at that. My arrow changes. That's pretty cool. I don't know. I was just fascinated by that. Oh, look, an arrow. But anyways, you see how these corners are rounded? Wouldn't it be nice if we can achieve the same effect of this on our website? Well, ladies and gentlemen, the time has come where you can actually do that. So before the old CSS, or excuse me, yeah, the old CSS, it was very difficult to achieve this. But for now, using CSS3, it's actually incredibly simple. Almost too easy if you ask me. So what you need to do is throw your WebKit in there, and the property is border minus radius. Now, what you need to do is you need to give it a value, say 25. The higher the value, the more rounded they're going to be. So if you round these 25 pixels and save this, take a look whenever I refresh at my corners. I now have nice, sweet, rounded corners. So basically, as soon as this becomes a standard, I got a feeling you guys are going to be seeing a ton more rounded websites because, I don't know, it just looks like more futuristic rather than this old square crap. So you're saying, okay, that's pretty nice. Okay, CSS3 can round my corners. Not that impressed. Well, wouldn't it be nice if this box right here, if we could make it look just a tidbit prettier? So how can we do that? Let's go ahead and apply a shadow. And I know what you guys are saying. OMG, I was in college like 3 years ago and they told me to apply shadows, and it was the biggest pain in the butt. It was this whole process, yada yada yada. Well, with CSS3, it is 1,000 times more simple than it was in the past couple years. So the property for this is WebKit and it's box shadow. Now the properties, or excuse me, the values kind of get kind of weird here, so you need to listen closely. The very first thing it's going to take is a color, RGB, and this is the red, green, and blue value. Now, just say it's anywhere from 0 to 255, and I'm going to put mine at like 110, 110, 110. The higher you go, the more white it's going to be. The lower you go, the darker it's going to be. If they're all the same, it's a shade of gray. So that's somewhere, it's kind of like a dark gray. And it takes at least two values after this. Now the first value it takes is the offset to left and right. So I'm going to go ahead and put it 8 pixels, and that's going to shift the shadow 8 pixels to the right, because if we put it directly under our box is going to be covering up. So we have it shift directly to the right 8 pixels and directly down 8 pixels. So let me go ahead and show you guys that. Not 88, don't want to do that. And save this baby and we'll see what we got. And it didn't save because RGB 10 okay, box shadow. Oh, what the heck? WebSkit. What the heck is a web skit? That's embarrassing. Now if we save it, refresh this beast, and you see we got a nice dark gray shadow to the right and down 8 pixels. Looks awesome, doesn't it? Not exactly, because when the heck have you ever seen a shadow that looks like that in a coloring book, maybe? Shadows have some kind of blur to them. They have like a gradient that kind of fades out. So in order to add this blur, we need one additional value. So this is the offset to the right, this is the offset to the left, and by the way, if you have a negative number like this, then it's going to shift it to the left instead of the right. It's just right and down is the standard. But anyways, if we have one more value, let's say 8 pixels, this third pixel value is the amount of blur. In other words, the amount of gradient that it's going to fade out. So now if we go ahead and save this and refresh, take a look at my gradient right here. And actually what I'm going to do is I'm going to blast all these up so it's really easy to see on YouTube. 10, 10, 10, save this biatch and refresh and check it out. We now have a nice gradient blur fading out of our shadow. So how awesome is that? It's now looking like a realistic shadow. And oh man, I probably don't got time to talk to you guys about text shadows and gradients, but what I do have time to talk to you guys about is this last property that you can add to a shadow. So I'll just do that. So as you can see, the shadow kind of looks like this box is casting a shadow on the background of our website. However, there is a way that we can make the shadow on the inside of our box. Now we can add an additional property to this, and you're saying, okay, we have 3 colors and 3 pixels, and now you want me to add more stuff? Yes. You have an optional word you can add called inset. Not incest, inset. Now, whenever you add this word, what it means is, okay, instead of the shadow being on the outside of the box, it's going to look like something is casting the shadow on the box. So it gives you that effect of kind of, a button pressed in or something, and all of the same other properties apply. Your blur, your color, all that same stuff. So this is how, I don't know, maybe you want to make a box and make it looks like it's a button pressed in. I don't use it that often because I don't like the way it looks. But if you want to use that, it's called inset, and you add it right to the end. And I believe that's the only additional word that you can use. So anyways, in the next tutorial, I got to talk to you guys about text shadows, which are a little bit different, and also how you can make gradients. For example, make this fade from blue to red. And if you think you know how to do it from the old CSS, we got a totally new, better way of doing it. So anyways, thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video.